Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Kings of the South podcast, the NFC Pat. I can't even speak English. It's been so long. It's been so long since we've been here. Okay, welcome to the NFC South podcast, Kings of the South podcast, and NFC South podcast. We are your hosts. I am Corey. That is my boy over there, Mr. Thomas. You know what I'm saying? It's been a
How's it
while.
going?
It's been a while. Wildfires and influenza and all these, calamities be damned. We're here now.
Yeah.
And at the most important time of the year, man, free agency.
Hey, man. I know last video we did, we said we were sticking around and then
Mhm.
we disappeared
And
again. So
life, man,
yeah, it's been a wild I'd say year, a wild 12 months between work and life and everything else. It's just been like, holy crap. But hey, we're here and yeah, let's delve into this free agency, man.
yeah, man. So you know, a lot of things been happening in the NFL lately, man. A lot of news been going on. I see a lot of, fans in the NFC South are upset because, I guess they don't understand how free agency works. They're
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Oh, well, why didn't we talk to this guy?" Well, because you're not allowed to. Legal tampering don't start until
Tomorrow,
Monday at 12 o'clock,
noon.
12
Yep.
p.m. Which, by the time y'all get this, it will be, Monday. So, maybe y'all know something beforehand. Maybe we don't know. But
Yeah.
we're talking about what's going on as of right now at 11 o'clock, 11 p.m.
Yep.
So,
Sunday night. So
yeah.
I do have one thing we can go ahead and rip off.
Mhm.
They said a tweet sent out by Daniel Jeremiah from Move the Sticks. He said Carolina is going to be a very interesting team to watch tomorrow during free agency. And this is hour plus after the DK Metcalf trade.
Mhm.
Um, he has some insiders, so I don't know what he's been told, but I know Carolina's been associated with a lot of defensive free agents. So
Darius Slayton, baby. We back. We
yeah,
back.
we'll delve into that. Yeah. So you want to go ahead and start us off, man?
Yeah, man. Let's talk about probably what is the worst news out of the NFC South. I mean, if you're a Saints fan,
Yeah.
uh, the New Orleans Saints have decided to not only retain Derek Carr as their starting quarterback, they restructured his deal so that they can kick the cap further down the road next year, and his salary cap next year, if he's cut, is $69 million.
Yeah.
Why? As
Yeah.
I feel like even New Orleans fans are asking that question. Why? Why are we doing this? I
Yeah, it seems like they were trying to take some of the burden off of the future years because they're trying to get out of the contract after this year, but then I don't fully know the
they
the
can't.
details of the contract, but it's still going to linger over their cap regardless of what they decide to do after this year. Yeah, New Orleans is just in a tough situation, man. I don't envy Kellen Moore, and I actually kind of feel bad for him. I don't
I
blame him
don't.
for
No, he
taking
took
the
this
job.
job. He took this job.
Well,
No,
yeah,
no,
but
no. I don't. No, no, no. He took this job. He knew what it was.
yeah, but like when you get the opportunity to get a promotion, why wouldn't you take it? Um, you know, not to delve into personal things, but I have had experience in previous situations with my jobs that, you kind of inherited a bad situation. And he's still stuck with the old GM. So and it's not really his decision. If he could have brought in his own GM, I think they'd be better off for the future. But hey, Mickey Loomis is still there. So good luck to Kellen Moore.
It's
That's all I got to say. Good luck
yeah,
to Kellen Moore.
yeah. I don't get it. New Orleans fans, I see your frustration. Um, you need to reset the clock. I get it. It's unfortunate because it looks, I mean, before the weekend started, we all thought New Orleans had an outside chance of landing Shador in the draft because we thought he was going to slip.
Yeah.
But with Geno Smith trade and the Miles Garrett, extension, quarterbacks are going to go 1 and 2 in the draft.
Oh
So
yeah, more than likely.
I I know there's not another quarterback in this draft worth taking in the first round, at least that high. And you're hoping like maybe next year, but I don't think you guys are going to be bad enough next year to get a quarterback. You're probably going to win 7 games, and you're going to be right back here again next year. And that's the most frustrating part. I don't see why Mickey Loomis is so afraid of blowing it up and just like saying, you know what, we tried for like a decade plus, it didn't work. Let's just start fresh, like normal
Yeah.
teams do. They think they can outrun the cap, and the cap is undefeated.
Yeah, I watched someone earlier today that was talking about Mickey Loomis and his decision making. And this goes all the way back to Drew Brees and Sean Payton. I mean, he made bad decisions back then too. This is nothing new. It's just
Hmm.
now it's catching up to them because they
Hmm.
don't have a Drew Brees, they don't have a Sean Payton. And on top of that, looking into it, I mean, he's setting Kellen Moore up for failure, but also he's really tarnished his career as a GM and any chance he has of maintaining that job outside of New Orleans,
Hmm.
good luck. New Orleans is just in a rough situation, man, and it's not going to get better, like you said. And I really don't know what they're going to do this offseason. I know what they should do in the first round is focus on defense because they need pass rush so bad. Cam Jordan is outdated, needs to go. They got to clear cap. They got to get rid of a lot of these vets on that team and just start fresh. And they got to start somewhere. And this is the year you need to just slowly but surely start ripping away the band-aid for a lot of these players on the roster.
Well, that's what we thought they were going to do, but they announced this move of restructuring this contract.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a hard time believing that Kellen Moore and Mickey Loomis, when they're on the clock and they're staring at Ted McMillan or at Genty at running back or Tyler Warren on the board, they're not passing up on any of them for a defensive player. They're not going to do it.
We'll see, man. I would say you're wrong in that situation, but hey, New Orleans has done some crazy things before, so I don't put it past them.
Because you have to think about it. They offense is not good. It's
No
not
one
good.
scares you.
It's not good. Olave, we don't know if he'll ever be the same again with
No,
all
his
those
concussion
concussions.
history. Yeah.
I don't know. Raheem Shaheed, didn't he have a major injury when he tore his
Tore his ACL.
ACL? Yeah. So yeah, they could use a weapon. I just I don't know. That whole situation baffles me. Of course, we're going to say that we don't expect them to be players this week, but every year they do something to piss me off, and they find some money and get a good player. So
Yeah.
it's the New Orleans way. So Tampa Bay, Tampa
Yeah.
Bay, they're
Yeah.
poised to lose Chris Godwin, which
Hmm.
interestingly enough, I think it's going to be your guys' top target at receiver. But I, I feel like they never really wanted to re-sign Chris Godwin. I feel like if they could have gotten anything of value for him last year in a trade,
Yeah.
after like while they were in the division lead or in the running for the division,
Hmm.
they wasn't going to trade. But I feel like once Mike Evans got hurt and things started going downhill, they probably should have explored it more. But also, they wasn't given the opportunity because Chris Godwin immediately got hurt.
Yeah.
Immediately got hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a team that don't really have that many holes. I mean, they need an edge rusher.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
they can use another cornerback because I'm hearing that Jamel Dean is probably a cut candidate. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, they got holes, but they don't have that many. Their roster is probably one of the the best in shape rosters in the NFC South, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
They got the most
Yeah.
important positions solidified. You got your quarterback, you got your running backs, you got three running backs, really. You
Yeah, and you
got
got a true number one receiver in Mike Evans still. I
mhm,
mean, he's still playing at top game, top level of any wide receiver in the league. One of
mhm,
the best of all time.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I said to you earlier this week, um, their secondary is a big concern for me and across the league. You hear people talk about it. That was their one weakness on their defense was their secondary. Antoine Winfield had injuries this year. He didn't play up to the same level that he did the year before.
mhm,
Chris Godwin being out obviously didn't help. They had to play more rookies at receiver, younger guys. The strength of their team was Baker Mayfield, and then that run game. That run game was exceptional with Bucky Irving leading the way. Um, and obviously Rashad White, Sean Tucker, who should be a number one, but he's a number three right now.
mhm. I agree.
Arguably, you could get rid of Rashad White and just have him and Bucky Irving lead the way, especially because Sean Tucker's younger. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, Tampa doesn't have a lot of holes. I would say they definitely need to get another receiver in there. Not first round, but I would definitely say second, third round. I think you could add one.
It depends on what receiver's there.
Yeah,
It depends on what's on the board. If you get on the
Emeka
clock,
Ibuka.
yeah, he's there, or Luther
Yeah,
Burden is there. I have a hard time turning that down, especially if Will Johnson is gone and Trey
yeah,
Lance is gone, and all these top, the top three corners are gone, and the edge rushers are. I mean, the edge rusher class is good. It's not great.
yeah,
You can get an equally good edge rusher in the second round as you would in the first round. So
yeah.
that's something
And
we'll talk about at a later show, I guess.
oh yeah, for sure. We'll
Yeah.
do a mock draft on that.
Mhm.
I'm curious to see if they make a play for Jair Alexander,
Mm,
because he's supposed to be a cut candidate for Green Bay, and Tampa has some cap space to work with,
mhm.
so they could definitely make a play for the top corner in free agency. I know Jair hasn't officially been released yet, but the assumption is in the next 2 days he will, especially with free agency window starting tomorrow.
They could also use a linebacker too. I know
Hmm.
they just recently re-signed your boy Levante David, the
They
ageless
did.
wonder, to
Yep.
another
35.
year. Yeah, another year. He's ringing up for one more year.
Yep.
Um, but you got to get youthful at that position.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Now we thought it was going to be, well, we knew it was going to be a robust market for the linebackers in this free agent class, but we did not know it was going to be a robust market from their teams because the top four linebackers will not make it to free agency. They
Oh
were
yeah.
locked up by their teams. The only one available right now of note, as you can quote unquote big name, is Dre Greenlaw, and
Yep.
I want him in an Atlanta Falcon uniform. I don't know how to segue any better than that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because earlier today I seen a couple of insiders reporting that Green Bay and Atlanta are the top candidates for Dre Greenlaw's services. So that'll be interesting to see that bidding war between you guys and the Packers. So
I mean, come on, Green Bay, do us a solid, bro. You got Edgerrin Cooper. You don't really need a linebacker, bro. You don't need them, bro.
they don't necessarily, but
Look, go get a receiver, bro. Go get a receiver, man. Spend your money elsewhere.
yeah.
Okay. Go get a center. Josh Myers is a free agent. Go get a center.
Yeah,
All
yeah. I
right.
forgot he's a free agent until this afternoon. I watched a video on that, and he is
Yeah.
one of the top centers available.
Oh well. Excellent
One
way to
of.
yeah, excellent way to segue. Speaking of top centers in this free agent class, the Atlanta Falcons are poised to lose Drew Dalman, starting center for the past 3-4 years.
Hmm.
Um, Now I will say I like Drew Dalman. Drew Dalman is a fine player.
Oh
He
yeah,
is a top 10 center in the NFL, but
easily.
there's not a lot of good centers in the NFL.
No,
And the reason why I say
it's
he's
very
top
top
10,
heavy.
Yeah, he's an above average run defender. He is a below average to average pass protector.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot count how many times. Well, you've seen it up close when
Hmm.
Derrick Brown is playing.
Oh
Derrick
yeah.
Brown has his way,
Oh yeah, for
has his
sure.
way. So Drew Dalman is athletic enough to run that, to fit in the outside zone scheme that we're running. But if you're looking at him to like be like in a power scheme or as a team that's going to drop back and throw the ball like 40, 50 times, you're going to be in trouble with Drew Dalman as your starting center. With that being said, we're probably going to lose him. I've been hearing he's asking for anywhere between 16 to $20 million a year.
Yep.
Um,
Trying to reset the market.
yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool. We can't do that. Um,
Oh yeah.
as of I want to say 2 hours ago, we are cap compliant after we extended Jake Matthews with a 2 year, $35 million contract.
45 million.
45. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
with 30 million guaranteed.
I was very surprised by that extension.
Mhm,
Wasn't expecting it, but good for him. You know, he's a
mhm.
good one of the best tackles in the league, but makes you wonder when is the Saints going to become cap compliant? Because they're not there yet.
No, I don't think they have to become cap compliant till Wednesday, right? But
Until the official free agency, which
I
is
think it's Wednesday. Is it not? Is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
I'll look it up.
Tuesday, Wednesday. I can't remember. But yeah, it's gonna be one of those things, Saints fans. I know you're gonna want to be with you're gonna see all these teams make these splashy moves. You're gonna be like, all right, what is my team doing? Nothing. You're gonna have to sit and wait. Okay.
Yeah, March 12th,
Yeah. So yeah. I don't
3 days
know
from now.
what New Orleans is doing. I really don't. But as far as my Falcons, I would love to see Dre Greenlaw in our uniform. We need a linebacker. We need a tone setter. We need a leader, and that's what he is. When he came back from that Achilles injury, he looked like the Dre Greenlaw of old. It was one of the most incredible things I think I've seen.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you saw what Atlanta has been dealing with in the Achilles department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Speaking of,
Speaking
but
of
mhm.
free agency signings and candidates, I mentioned Jair for Tampa. Was there anybody you had in mind for New Orleans? I know they don't have a lot of cap to work with. We don't know their final number yet because we're a few days away. But if you had to guess, maybe someone they'd make a play for, offense or
um,
defense, would you have one in
if
mind?
they could find the money and move the money around, Milton Williams fit that defense like a glove.
Yeah, he does.
If they can find the money, I don't think they will. I don't think they can. But someone like that for them. Also,
Hmm.
Asante Samuel Jr., man. You know,
Oof.
I know, I
Oh.
know, but he's gonna be expensive. He's gonna.
So I have a theory, and I could be off. We'll see how it plays out. But I have a theory that they're going to try to re-sign some of their own, and the reason I say that is because some of their free agents are younger guys, like Paulson
Mm,
Adebo. Yes, he's coming off a
ooh,
significant injury,
mm-hmm,
but Paulson Adebo was one of the best corners in the league before he got injured. I'm talking the last 2 or 3 years. He's been one of the better corners in the league.
yeah.
And then,
That.
Chase Young, I know he's not the most elite pass rusher, but 25 years old, I mean, you can't beat that. And he's got
Mhm,
the traits that you look for in a solid pass rusher.
mhm,
Just to, have something to go into the draft with, because you don't want to have a bunch of holes on your team and you're chasing needs instead of going best player available,
yeah,
especially in the situation they're in with Cap.
yeah. But the only thing is with Chase Young, I mean, you see Max Crosby and uh,
Hmm.
you know, Miles Garrett contract. Chase Young is gonna be looking for half of that.
Yeah, so from what I've seen a lot of insiders talk about Chase Young, and they keep on saying that he's going to be a bargain for a pass rusher because of his lack of productiveness. Yes, he has a high motor. Yes, he's a young player, but his stats don't speak to the pay. that he would want, obviously.
Mhm.
So I think he's actually going to be a bargain for somebody. I know Carolina's been mentioned for him, the Saints, Atlanta,
Mhm.
even Tampa Bay has been
Yeah,
mentioned for Chase
everyone.
Young.
Yeah,
So,
everyone. Yeah, just like Asante Samuel. I've seen Asante Samuel Jr. linked to every single team in the NFC South.
yep, yep,
So if I was,
exactly.
if I'm a betting man, I put money that he's playing somewhere in the South. I just don't know where yet.
If I had to
Uh,
guess right now, I'd definitely say it's going to be NFC South that he plays
mhm,
in. I think it would be between Atlanta and Carolina, if I had
mhm.
to guess. But it could be Tampa. I mean,
It
who
could be
knows? They
Tampa.
got Cap
Yeah,
and they need corner.
they do.
So,
Yeah. It's a segue. The floor is yours, my buddy.
yeah, man. So, today is the day that the DK Metcalf trade happened, and I'm upset.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at what he got paid now, to put into perspective for Carolina fans and obviously non-Carolina fans, next free agency period next year and the following year after that, we
Mm-hmm.
have hundreds of millions of dollars in spending money. But um, Bryce Young, at some point in the next 2 to 3 years, will have to get a new contract, obviously. Do you want to take from future years and things like that? DK Metcalf is 27.
Mm-hmm.
30 million a year, 150 million over 5 years, and we have a lot of holes on defense. Reason I bring all that up is because do you want to spend all that money on this receiver and
Mm-hmm.
neglect some of your defensive positions you need to address, i.e., both safety positions, corner, D line, linebacker?
Mm-hmm.
So, taking a step back, analyzing the numbers, analyzing the situation, it makes sense why Carolina didn't go higher than a 4 year, $120 million deal for DK Metcalf and a third round pick is what we offered, allegedly. Um, you know, for me, I think we got to go defense early in free agency. Um, I'd say go after one of the top safeties. I've heard Cameron Bynum and Javon Holland
Mm-hmm.
are the top two safeties that Carolina has the most interest in. And obviously, Milton Williams is another person, and Josh Sweat. I think we'll get into a bidding war with the Patriots for Milton Williams' services, and we're going to lose because they
They
have
can
way more
pay.
cap than we do. They can pay him
Mm-hmm.
a lot more money. Somebody's going to overpay him, and rightfully
Mm-hmm.
so. He had a good year.
Mm-hmm.
He was a big part of that front seven for Philadelphia.
Now
Um,
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
mhm.
This what I'm about to say is not directed towards any defensive prospects.
Right.
I have a sneaky feeling that this week Carolina's going to trade for T. Higgins, and I'll tell you why.
I'm all ears.
DK Metcalf just got $33 million a year.
hmm
T. Higgins is better than DK Metcalf at this point in his career. DK may be better athletically, but
Yes.
T has the better season stacked up.
T is also younger.
Yes. So,
DK Metcalf's 27. I believe T Higgins either 25 or 26.
mhm. Jamar Chase is going to be making $40 million a year at a
Easily.
minimum. At a minimum.
Easily.
That's the minimum.
Yeah.
They cannot afford to pay their starting two receivers $70 million a year.
That
They
would be
just got.
insane.
They can't do it. They can't do it. They
No.
franchise tagged him because they didn't want to let him walk for nothing.
Right.
So I think Carolina either give up the first round pick or they give up a second round pick. One of the two.
It wouldn't be the first because I
It
feel
could
like
be.
a lot of people across the league value DK
Mhm.
higher than T Higgins. Um, I think you can get T Higgins for a second or a third for sure.
No, it won't be a third. It has to be either the first, like a pick swap, and
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have to give up a third.
I mean,
You know,
it's no
sweat
slight
off
to
your
me.
back.
Yeah, no sweat off my back because me personally, I'd give up our second round pick for T Higgins. Am I giving him a first? No, no, I'm not giving him a first because same situation with DK Metcalf. Not
You gotta
only do
pay
you have to
him.
give up compensation, but you have to pay him.
Hmm.
That doesn't make sense for any team in the league to have to give up that high of value of a pick and then have to pay him around 30 million a year. That's just a lot of money for a receiver when there's so many receivers in free agency and in the draft that you can fill positions.
Mhm.
Obviously, quality versus quality is not going to be the same,
Mhm.
but you got to take what you can get at this point. And I mean, if we trade for T Higgins, I'd call you and just be like, "Thank you, thank you for
I'm just
speaking this
saying.
into
That's what
existence."
I'm just saying. Put it out there. Put it out
Yeah,
there.
for me, someone I'm very interested in. Um, I told you this the other day. Javon Holland for me is
Hmm.
top target free agent number one for me.
Hmm.
Evero's scheme is very dependent on safety help, the play of your safeties,
Hmm.
playing smart, playing athletic, playing aggressive. Javon Holland is that. He's had a couple of down years, but overall he's still young and he's definitely the best safety available. Um,
Well.
depending
I
on who you ask.
no, I thought about that too until I was thinking that way too until we spoke on the phone recently.
Oh
And you
yeah, I
convinced
did.
me of what was it Trayvon
Morig.
Morig
Hmm.
from the Raiders,
Yeah, yeah.
and you
So
said,
he
yeah, go ahead, you explain it to the people.
Yeah. So I was talking to Corey the other day on the phone, and I mentioned Trayvon Morig from the Raiders, and he can play multiple positions. He can play nickel corner, he can play strong safety, he can play free safety, and he's roughly the same age as Javon Holland. I think Javon Holland's a year younger, or they
Mhm.
might be the same age, but
They came out in the same
yeah.
draft. I think they were in the same draft.
I think they did, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, either one would be great for me. I say Javon Holland only because I'm under the assumption, based on what I'm hearing across the league, is that the Raiders are gonna make an offer to him tomorrow
Hmm.
before the window opens so he doesn't hit the
Oh,
market. That's
okay.
why I pull back on that because I'm like,
Hmm.
the Raiders have Cap and they know he's an important piece of their defense,
Hmm.
but we'll see what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
if he hits that market, hey, all hands on deck. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think secondary, obviously, but front seven most of all is the most important need. Obviously, Shaq Thompson's gonna be gone. They already told him, hey, we're not re-signing you. Carolina made some small moves the last few days, re-signing Tommy Tremble, Cade Mays, and Austin Corbett. So our center position for now is fine. I do think they'll draft a center, like I told you. Um, and tight end, I think we're pretty good. Dave Canellis doesn't really use tight ends a lot in his offense,
Hmm.
so tight end is not a necessity. Although I would love to have drafted Tyler Warren from Penn State. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, man. I think Asante Samuel Jr., like we talked about, is definitely a dark horse candidate for Carolina. I just imagine him being teamed up with JC Horn. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of JC
Hmm.
Horn, I'm hoping before tomorrow's window starts,
Y'all announce him? Yeah.
yeah, announce him with a new contract because that would give us some more cap space to work with. We haven't made a lot of cap moves yet, so I'm wondering who they're going to restructure
If you
and
don't,
re-sign.
if you don't, you know where he's from.
Oh, he ain't going nowhere.
You know
I'm
where he's
100%
from.
confident Dan Morgan's going to
He
re-sign
better do the
JC
right thing.
Horn.
He better do the right thing. He better do the right thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All
I
right,
would
let's
not want to see
yeah.
him in black and red. I'd be upset.
All right, so let's do something before we get out of here. We're gonna do
Hmm.
two exercises. The first exercise we're gonna do under the radar bargain guys for each team in the NFC South, and then one you just shoot for the moon. Best case scenario, this is the guy. Like we dreaming here. Okay.
Right.
All right. So Saints under the radar.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go.
Does it have to be a trade or a free agent?
No, just free agent.
Okay.
Because I don't think they're gonna trade for anything.
No.
Well, I say that, knock on wood.
Yeah. That's tough, man, because they
Mhm.
need a lot of help in a lot of places.
Um, Mm, God bless. I would say under the radar. Bring back Paulson Adebo.
That was my. Oh, I have one. I
Go
have
ahead.
one.
Go ahead.
So strong safety. They have the younger guy they drafted last year. What's his name? Snowden.
Snowden, yeah.
Is that? I think that's who his
I
name
don't
is.
know. He's
I know they have
Johnson,
Tyrann
but
Matthew.
yeah. But yeah, he need to, it's about time for him.
Yeah, they need to make an upgrade at safety. Um, Tyrann Matthew's in his 30s.
Hmm.
Marcus Williams is supposed
Ooh,
to get
go
released by
back.
Baltimore.
Oh, how about Anton Cisco.
Oh, Andre Cisco.
I say Anton. Damn.
Yeah.
Andre Cisco.
That
Uh,
happened. I wish
yeah,
people were listening to our conversation today. You said a
yeah,
name, and
yeah.
I was like, who?
I think I caught myself too. I was like, oh yeah, that's not right. Yeah,
That's not the first time.
yeah.
But yeah, Marcus Williams or even Andre Cisco. Cisco's a young safety, but I think they can get him on a good deal to where it's
Hmm.
not too cap, aggressive towards the cap.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, if not Andre Cisco, definitely Marcus Williams because Marcus Williams used to play in New Orleans.
Hmm.
He was drafted by the Saints, so I think that'd be a low
Wait, didn't
key.
he cause that infamous Minnesota Miracle?
Yeah,
Wasn't that on him? Yeah, that wasn't
yeah, it
him.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
He was one of the players. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
So,
all right.
um, yeah, I think another one would be who's it? Turpin from Dallas.
Okay, Cavante Turbo.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just another speed threat at the
Hmm.
receiver position.
Hmm.
Darius Slayton, I think, would be a
Hmm.
good addition to the Saints. Someone affordable.
Hmm.
I do believe Saints will have a little cap to work with where they can go
Hmm.
after some decent names, some good
Joey
players.
Bosa. I mean, not Joey. Yeah, Joey Bosa. Swing for
Hmm.
the fences. That's their swing for the fences guy.
So it's funny you mentioned that because who's their D coordinator?
Yeah.
Uh, Old Chargers head coach,
Yeah. Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley. So yeah, that's a candidate. Khalil Mack is another one.
Hmm.
Now I would say I would avoid Khalil Mack. I think Khalil Mack should go back to the Chargers.
Nope.
He's 34.
Hey, he still had 10 sacks.
Yeah, he did, but I don't know. We'll see.
Take
But
take it from a Falcon fan, man. 10
yeah,
sacks sounds good, brother.
yeah, that's true. Hey, who you telling, man? We only
Yeah.
had like our high sack total by one player was like six. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right.
But
So,
yeah, I could see Darius Slayton going to I'm sorry, to New Orleans. So
so boom. All right. Tampa Bay. What we got? They need a corner.
mm,
Um,
I
I
wouldn't
think.
mind seeing Ojulari from the Giants going
Ooh.
to Tampa Bay.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'd like that move. He's a good edge rusher, young.
Hmm.
He would be an affordable addition where they're not having to overspend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Him and Yaya Diaby will complement each other's game.
Hmm.
That's a good shot.
Yeah.
I would say Jack Sanborn, man. They need
Yeah.
linebackers,
Middle linebacker.
and he's a good linebacker. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not like Fred Warner, but Fred Warner's ain't walking out here every day. He's
Hmm.
good, man. So yeah, I say that works. That's the ones I'm going with. Um,
Let's see. Oh, another one we didn't mention. We haven't mentioned much. Josh Sweat.
I don't.
They can afford Josh Sweat.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be a great addition for Tampa. I wouldn't want that
I wouldn't want that
personally.
either. Well, hell, that's another one. Josh Sweat could go to any team in the NFC South, and it would
Yeah.
not surprise me. It wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me at all. Um, Atlanta. I want Dre Greenlaw. That's what I want. Um, Realistically, I don't know. I'll take Khalil Mack. I know he old, like you said, but shit, I need 10 sacks, brother. You got that for me?
I got one for you for
Hmm.
Atlanta. Charvarius Ward.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
I think y'all gonna go after a veteran corner. I don't think you're
Mm-hmm.
going to draft another corner. Not high at least.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying if Will Johnson fell to you, you wouldn't take him, but I think free agency wise, I think Javarius Ward would be a great fit for y'all's defense. Also, DJ Reed.
I'll take that too. I'll take that
Yeah.
too. All right. Carolina, last but not least.
All right. Someone I haven't mentioned because I mentioned a lot of defensive players, but you mentioned it earlier, and I'm gonna bring him up again. Chris Godwin.
Mm-hmm.
There's ties with Dave Canellis and Brad Izik, the wide receiver coach,
Mm-hmm.
from their time in Tampa. Um, Chris Godwin is still young-ish. He's 29. I mean, that's young for a wide receiver. You could sign him to a 3-year deal. You know, it'd definitely be cheaper than what DK Metcalf's making.
Yeah.
Um, Now, the caveat is how much cap are we going to have to work with? Because you do have defensive holes that you need to fill. Um, and then I want to say another candidate for corner would be Rasul Douglas from the
Mm-hmm.
Bills. He's 30 years old, but he used to play in Carolina at one point. Um, he'd be a solid addition to the scheme and just giving us a number two corner. I'm trying to think outside the box here and not go so obvious with the big names. Um, and then Ufanga, the safety from San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
another safety, but he's 25 years old, coming off an injury. But I mean, someone that I would love to add to the secondary. So
Yeah, man. Funny. Yeah, that's gonna do it for us, folks.
yeah,
We'll see what unfolds tomorrow. Well,
yeah.
today, later today. So, with that being said, Kings of the South. Till next time.
Peace.